Welcome, Knicks Nation, to another episode of Knicks Dreams. Today, we're going to be breaking down the Knicks and Trailblazer game that took place yesterday, or the day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, tonight's game between the Knicks and the Jazz. With that said, I want to, pass the ball off to my man 2.0 so that he could give us his take on what he thought about the game against the Trailblazers.
All right. Thank you very much, Santana. Good afternoon, Nick Nation. Welcome all. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd just like to say that if you told me we were having a pre-show conversation between Santana and myself, and if you would have asked me or told me that at this time of the season the Knicks were going to be 8-10, I would have said, I'll take it. Okay. Having said that, it's still it's a little bit of mixed emotions because of the fact that we've had a little bit of the injury bug hit us to players that had they been there all along, our record would have been maybe at 500 or maybe a little bit over 500. And I think this team is very capable. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I love the job that our coach is doing, but he's still figuring out who is the best combinations to bring in or who comes in first. And one of the things that I'm hoping that my boy IQ will prove.
Okay, Mr. Bill, it
is
seems
that. See, I knew what he was going to say.
so. Go ahead,
The
finish.
proof is that he's worthy of a starting position, and that Tibbs should just pull the trigger and have him starting, and let Alfred Payton come from the bench. Isn't that what you were going to say, 2.0?
Well, actually, I was gonna allow Peyton to continue playing, but he should be the first man off the bench. He should be the first. He's the first substitution.
Go ahead, Bill. Take it up from there.
He's the first substitution that Tibbs should have coming in at the sight or hint of the fact that Alfred Payton is not running the team in the direction that we need to go offensively on that particular game day. Isn't that what you were going to say, 2.0? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bill Stradamus. Bill Stradamus. He could read minds, brother.
And not only that, but Rivers on him. You know, I need offense, and Rivers doesn't give it to me when he comes in.
Right.
And quickly moves the ball, hits the shots, gets everybody moving. That's what we need. We need a burst of energy, not somebody that's just going to play half-ass defense and zero offense. Why am I giving him 25 minutes for 4 points? When quick.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, because Rivers had actually didn't even have 4 points. Rivers had 3 points, 2 rebounds and 3 assists, and he played 29 minutes. RJ laid an egg, really, but actually it was Burks who was pretty consistent out there. Burks gave us 18 points, 4 rebounds in 27 minutes. So therefore, he did the job off the bench that perhaps we were looking for Rivers to give us, because those starters, they actually kind of he started though, so he dropped to 18 points, and other than Randall and Quickly, Burks was that third scorer for the night. Mitchell Robinson didn't do that well. He had only 8 points and 9 rebounds in 26 minutes. We need a double-double out of Mitch. Peyton, I don't know what happened with Peyton. Only 8 points and 2 assists. And the same thing with the Riddler. He had 8 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. And I remember during the game, well, was it after the game? Got a text from Pops, and Pops said, he did, he had some good games, and now he did a Houdini. That's exactly what Pops said to me. He did a Houdini on us, which he did. Noel was pretty good defensively. He had 11 rebounds. Kevin Knox, he had 18 minutes, only 2 points, a rebound, and 2 assists. That brother got to do something different out there. That brother definitely has to do something different. Obi-Wan, he had 15 minutes. He scored a couple of buckets and had 3 rebounds. But overall, we were really flat. And basically, it looked like 2 different teams out there. It looked like they were on a level that we're aspiring to get to. Going down by 25, 27 points, and have to climb back all the way back, which we were able to do, surprisingly. But that is not us. We are not a comeback team that can come back from that. We came back from that because they just completely fell apart. That's all that was. That had nothing to do with no great defense that we displayed. And if we did that with 9 out of 10 teams, 9 out of 10 times, we're going to lose that game, no matter who we're playing. So with that being said, let me throw a quick oop over the head to Santana, my man.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bill Stradamus. So, I'm going to start this off by saying something that Dream said. Are we going to get a rested or rusty Portland Trailblazer team? And we got the rested team.
They're very rested.
Very rested team. They came out and they executed in spite of the guys that were injured, that weren't playing, and so forth and so on, which I anticipated. I anticipated that in spite of the fact that they were missing some key starters, they had enough offensive firepower to be able to make up the difference. Next man out, next man up mentality. And sure enough, that's exactly what they displayed. Of course, Damian Lillard, he was just unconscious. I mean, coming off of picks and just stroking it, like water. Okay, he looked like a Splash Brother up in there. You know what I'm saying? And so, he was doing his thing.
What, the third quarter, I think? He didn't miss a shot until the third quarter.
Yeah. No, right. He was on point, man. You got to give him credit. But we expected that coming from him. You know what I mean? The one who was off, surprisingly so was Carmelo, and that worked to our advantage because had he been on, probably be a bigger disparity. I have mentioned this in previous episodes. Our margin of error is very minuscule, so we cannot afford to play tight games. Much less have these, big disparities that we have to try to come back from. I mean, It's just not sustainable. There's no way for us to really win those games because it's too much energy. We dug too much of a hole to be able to come back. So I totally agree with you, Mr. Bill, there in terms of, that 25, 27 point differential is very difficult. Now, in terms of, certain players, Tibbs, he was smart. He pulled, Captain Hook pulled Peyton, and he pulled the Riddler, which is good. You got to send that message. If you're not producing, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to sit next to the coach and help coach the game.
Yep, you will. Sure.
And you're going to gain respect as a coach that way because then players get the message. Look, if I'm not producing, I got to step up. Same goes for Knox. Now, I had this conversation in another show. We're having this discussion in terms of Knox value to the team. And, I don't like knocking players all the time and stuff like that, but I'm going to call it like I see it. You got a 6'9", 6'10" brother who's only settling to shoot threes. So he shoots a three, he stands around and looks. I mean, there's a lot more to basketball than just shooting a three and looking. You can attack the basket. You can also crash the boards. You can go for offensive rebounds. You can play passing lanes to get steals, to get nice breakaway layups. There's so much more you could do. And others were debating, oh well, Tibbs doesn't give him enough time. Those are excuses. Nobody want to
Yeah,
hear those
yeah.
excuses. Listen, you
Let
get
him give
whatever
you enough
minutes you
time.
get. You
Let
get
him give you more time.
Yeah, exactly. And the way you get more minutes is you got to do those extra little things. There's nothing that says you can't do that. Okay, we're setting up a play for you to shoot a three. Okay, it doesn't end there. There's more
Right,
to the game
right.
than just shooting the three. 6'9", 1 rebound. Get out of here, man.
Yeah,
Sit down. Sit down. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
terrible.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it. So I gotta call it like it is, okay? Like it T.I. is. All right.
Yeah.
So now, with that being said, I'm gonna do a nice little bounce pass. Send it off to 2.0 and get his take on what he thinks about matchups, strategy, substitutions, what have you.
Well, I think I overheard a little bit about the fact that we can't be allowing ourselves to dig ourselves a hole and then try to come back from them. However, they scored 70 points. Was it 60? 70 to 50 in the first half, right? So we did what we were supposed to do offensively. I mean, 50 points and a half is not that bad. That's 25 points a quarter. But we shut them down to 40 points in the second half. So, we did our job, regardless of whether or not we dug ourselves a hole, and that's not the way you want to. I agree with you, Bill Stradamus. That's not the way you want to play games. You don't want to be coming back from large deficits at any time with anybody, regardless of what the competition is. But it's good to see that, they're not giving up. Because being down 20 points at the half is an easy game to say, you know what? Let's just, fold our tents and let's come, live to play another game, And they didn't do that. They scrapped and played a little better defense, because part of it was that they started missing all those 3-pointers that they were making in the first half also. So they were missing their 3-pointers. Our problem was that we didn't get those opportunistic rebounds, those long rebounds, and those second chances that they got, because we were looking at the shot going up instead of boxing somebody out to get the rebound. We just says, and that's where we hurt ourselves in those last few minutes. Like I always say, with 7 minutes to go, we were down 5 points. So we were in that game. That's what I want. I'm in the game. I was ready to shut this shit off. Excuse my language, but I stayed with the game because I said, Quigley started moving the ball and taking these shots, and I saw that he was in some kind of rhythm. I said, I see us coming back here. So I stayed with it to the very end. It was very entertaining. I was happy for the way that they came back. I was thrilled with the fact that the coach made those changes that were necessary. Players are learning that if they don't produce, they're not going to play. And the coach is learning that I got to figure out how to depend on other people. And I think that Burks and Quigley they've earned the right to have more minutes. Okay? I'm not ready to give him the starting role because I like him bringing that energy. And like eventually that's his spot. He's gonna be, he might be, he should be, he could be the starting point guard. But in the way that he's being used now, it's like, if I don't have that coming off the bench, then who is gonna give it to me? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I could have Steady and Eddie Payton start the game, but after 5 minutes, I'm done with that shit. I mean, with him. I'm ready to move on to Quickly 5 minutes into the game because I need that extra energy. I need a bounce. I need somebody that is, he got so much exuberance. It's like a damn the bunny, the Energizer bunny, He comes in there and it's a whole new rhythm to the game. But I need that coming off the bench. And if I don't have him to do it, then I have nobody. Nobody to give us that. Can you tell me? Can you guys give me someone that's going to do that for us? Take it away, Bill.
Well, no, not really. But we still can't, have those defensive lapses like that. That was almost hard to watch after a while.
In the first half, yeah.
Yeah, that first episode was really hard to watch. And they were down also in that third quarter, they were down 25 points.
That's right.
So like Henry stated, it was a good comeback, but the fact that we didn't get it, it means nothing to me. Like, okay, we did all of that stuff and we didn't get the game. As if we would have played a little better in that first half, it might not have come down to that. We might have been able to just, play the game and win it outright. Again, the front line wasn't, what it normally is. Although Burks was a pleasant surprise at one of the forward spots with Randall, because Randall didn't have one of his better games. I mean, although he still put up good numbers, 25, 7, and 5, it wasn't your typical Randall game. That was a hard fought 25 that he got, and that may be because the offense didn't move the ball around the way we're used to seeing them do when they're winning. They usually move the ball around. And I want to go back to what you were saying about Kevin Knox. Right about now, it's just excuses now. That guy comes in, and the thing is, I don't. Okay, you're supposed to shoot your threes, but sometimes this guy he doesn't even check to see if there's someone else with a better shot. He doesn't even look. Sometimes he just touches his fingers and he just launches. And a lot of times those are bad shots, hitting the side of the rim or going clearly over the rim. And those are not good shots. And then, like you were saying on the other show, you got to do something else. How about crashing the boards? How about doing something defensively that'll make Tibbs say, okay, I'll leave him out there a little longer? How about making a better pass than the shot that you think that you have? Who's that?
I muted him because he's switching, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man, that first half was so bad that second half you had to do something. But like I said, we're not that team. We are not that team, and we got some guys who gotta do a little more, give a little more contributions out there when they get their time out there. And Knox is the biggest one right about now. He has too much, I guess, potential, and he's too young to still be making the same, mistakes and seemingly looking like all he cares about is offense. Because he has terrible body language. The kid has terrible, terrible body language. When his shot is not falling, he's looking like, woe is me. And when he seems to play as if he knows that, okay, well, if I don't hit 3 shots or my first 3 shots, I'm going to get pulled. That's how he plays. He plays scared.
No.
And he plays too scared.
Yeah.
And he needs to get more comfortable out there. And when your shot is not falling, do something different. Something. It was good to see Noel have a decent game. He picked up. Sorry, 2.0. He picked up where Mitch kind of left off, because Mitch wasn't looking too good out there. And that was the game they should have taken advantage of in the middle because of the fact that their big man is out. I don't want to say too much, but with that little bit being said, let me make a funky pass between the legs. I see the Dream coming behind me for the easy 2. Take the Dream.
Nice. And one stop. Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, this game, basically for me was a tale of two halves. First half, Portland takes it to us. And basically they win the first half by 20. Second half, Knicks take it back to them and win that half by 17, -3. That's it. So, I guess it's whatever you want to take from each half. They definitely, I asked last show, was it going to be rest or rust? They definitely did not come out rusty to start. They were basically itching to play after being off for a week. They had some good practices from what I hear. And, they gave us all the smoke we was willing to have. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And 39, 5 and 8 speaks to Lillard's points and his numbers for the game. So he caught fire early and often, and it just kind of buried us in that first half. It was nice to see, though, that we had some heart. We didn't give up and let it get out of hand and get embarrassing. We crawled our way back into it. We played a better second half and held them to more respectable numbers that we're accustomed to seeing from what our defense can do. They had a total of 9 offensive rebounds. So, that means we kind of kept them to that one shot in order for us to get back in the game. They had 44 total or something of that nature, but only 9 offensive. I thought we did a good job of taking advantage of the things we needed to do in order to put us in position to get back in that game. Because the first half was crazy. As a team, they started out like 9 to 10 field goals or something like that, and for most of the first quarter, they shot like 85%. It was ridiculous, man. Plus that and added 4 turnovers for us in that first quarter. Boy, put us in a hole. So and then that just rolled right into the second quarter, and they dropped 70 in that first half. That was a lot. But like I said, we got hit in the mouth early in that game, but we staggered a little bit. We got ourselves back on track and made a fight of it. Basically, we would have liked to pull that win out. We would have liked to pull out the last win, but I think it's important that if we at least not getting these wins, we're showing that we're being competitive in the games. And making up for some of our bad play in some quarters. We make up for it in other quarters, and I guess that's for me at least a little bit positive. But I will fake to the right and shimmy back to the left to 2.0. Take it away. Enjoy your day.
Okay, so the thing that I wanted to add was, first of all, okay, so Noel did a pretty decent job when he came in. He did miss a nice easy dunk that would have put us about, 2 or 3 points down instead of turning around and making it 8 or 10. They went back on that run.
You're talking about the alley-oop, right?
Yeah, that alley-oop. He went with one-handed type of nonsense. Right. Those are critical moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are game-changing moments.
That turned into a 3 for them. They took it down the other end and shot and hit a 3.
And hit a 3. That's 5-point turnaround. 2 we didn't make and 3 that they made. All of a sudden, we got to fight again to try to win this game. And the second thing is that Knox needs to stop thinking that he's in there for offense, man.
Yeah,
his man beat him a couple of times. I think it might have been Covington and all of those, Junior, whoever, the guy that came from Miami. They beat him for offensive rebounds every time.
Yeah,
he's there to box his man out so that Mitch and Randall can get the rebounds. That's what he has to do. If he plays a little defense, he's going to get his minutes. Otherwise, he could sit down and be player coach.
Yeah,
he could be player coach.
Ready.
Yeah, he's not. The moment is too big for him. The moment is too big for him. And you know what it is? He thought he was coming in here as a number 1 draft pick or, first round draft pick, and he was going to, change the world.
That was on him.
And that's his problem. He hasn't been able to change the world. And now all of a sudden, like you said, his body language, he doesn't make those first 3 points. Why are you taking 3-pointers if you're making them at that 25% rate? Go to the basket. Same thing with RJ. Go to the basket. I think we should change Knox's game to no J Knox or no knockdown. He doesn't knock him down. No knocks.
No knocks.
No knocks.
Chuck full of knocks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He do Chuck. Yeah, that's perfect because he comes in launching.
Yes.
He just comes in.
That's what he is.
The ball can move around, and when it touches his fingers, it is going towards that basket.
Kevin Chuck. Kevin Chuck. Kevin Chuck Knox.
Chuck Knox. There you go.
Chuck Knox. Chuck Knox.
Chuck Knox.
That's his new nickname.
We worked it out. We worked it out. Chuck Knox.
Chuck Knox. You still coaching for the Steelers, huh?
Yo, he's a football player trying to play basketball.
Yeah, football player trying to play basketball. There you go. Holy cow.
Okay. So
Go ahead, Henry.
anyway, no Knox, Chuck Knox, projectile, whatever it is.
Chuck Norris, whatever we're gonna call him.
Oh my God! Again, these are the guys that I put question marks around coming off the bench. I got him, and I got Rivers. They're gonna be the last two off the bench, if I can help it. You know. So coming back to the conversation about rotations and who should come in, it's got to be okay. Give me those first starting five, but I'm only giving you a starting five like as a cameo appearance. You're here to show up, and then any minute now you are going to be sitting next to your boy drinking some water and talking about the game. And I'm bringing in Quigley, and I'm bringing in Toppin. And then maybe Knox and Rivers. Okay?
Yeah.
Or maybe Quigley, Toppin, and Noel.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my first three off the bench. And then I have Rivers and Knox. And show them, or rather, yes, prove to them that this is how things are going to go based on your production. Your production deserves you being the 8th and the 9th player off the bench or on the floor. The 8th or 9th player on the floor. And then, maybe they'll get to working harder in practices and start going to the basket instead of launching them.
Yeah.
You out of here? Okay, take it away, Bill.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly with that. They need to do something, but also something that we spoke on in previous shows, with the coaches when he sends Knox in there, send him in there running some plays or something. Send those guys in there. And if you guys notice, it seems like they put Quigley and Obi and Knox in them to try to save the games. And they're not there yet. I mean,
They're not ready for that.
They're not. IQ is seemingly the most ready to do that now, but the rest of them, they're just, I don't know. They're just not ready. Now, what Quigley is able to do, he's able to score and he's able to facilitate. Mm-hmm. And Tibbs wants them to, because he even says their offense is basically for them to feel the game out, which is those are triangle and motion offense. Those are those principles. To just feel the game, let it come to you, take the best shot and all of that. But those younger players, those Kevin Knoxes, although he's been here for like 12 years, he still doesn't understand the game fully yet. He feels that, like 2.0 just said, he feels that he's in there for offense. Oh, they must want me to drop, they must want me to drop 15 to 16 points a game. Mm-hmm. No. On days when you're on and you're able to give that, yes, but we want a complete game out of you. We want those other things, those other intangibles that we keep saying game after game that you're just not providing. Hey, you don't play, you played 20 minutes, you scored 2 points.
Yeah,
come on. Come on. You got what, 1 or 2 rebounds. That's just not good enough. And as long as you continue to do that, I can understand Tibbs playing you, 15 minutes or less until you show something different. Back to Burks. I like how he's feeling the game, and I think he's just about back. He's just about back. Mm-hmm. He had a pretty good defensive game as well. He plays pretty good defense, which is much better than what Knox is doing. When he's in there playing the forward, he's taking his shots, but he's doing other things in there. Burks is clearly, like I said, he's playing defense. He's making good plays. He's making the correct passes. He's moving without the ball. He's not just posting up in the corner waiting for the ball to come to him so that he can launch it. And again, though, Tibbs has to send that second unit in, not always, speed up the pace and bring us back, but send them in there with running some half-court sets so that certain people don't get lost out there. And I think that's what happens to Knox. If he comes in and his first couple of shots don't hit, or if it doesn't even come to him for him to be able to take a shot, he just immediately becomes lost out there. So he has to become engaged by doing the other things, of course. And the coaching staff has to be able to see that the way we see it and, do something about that. So that when he's coming in, if he's not hitting and if he's still in there, there's a reason for him to still be in there. When he was playing earlier in the season, when folks was talking about his defense improved, he was getting a little more time out there. Then it seems like he just went away from that totally and he posted up in these corners and he wants the ball so that he can launch him. That has to stop, man.
Mm-hmm.
How much time we got? I know you wanted to transition.
Let me
transition. Okay. Let me flip it over to you.
Okay. I'm going to say this real quick to close out the Knox saga, and then we got to transition into the Utah Jazz because we got another 15 minutes left. So I want to give that, ample time. Okay. The prescription for Knox on the offensive end of the court is the following.
Mm-hmm. Game time.
Game face, yo.
Okay. He gotta go to the Bernard King Mid-Range Academy and learn how to play the game from the inside out. And until he develops a fraction, maybe 20% of Bernard's game, he can't get any more minutes.
Right.
Okay. His minutes are going to be limited, and it's not going to be based on shots made. It's going to be based on, can you get rebounds? You got to get rebounds. Okay. You got to crash boards, whether you're shooting or somebody else is shooting, but you got to get some offensive rebounds so you can get some putbacks and defense. You got to either get defensive rebounds or you got to play them passing lanes, get steals. That's going to determine how many minutes you get on the floor. On my team. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be here, well, you got a few threes and that's going to allow you to get more minutes. No. It's about what you do on defense. I could get points from anybody. Anybody can chuck.
Right.
Anybody can chuck. I can bring Harper off the bench and have him chucking. He's more consistent.
Yep.
Okay? But that being said, we're gonna table Knox now because we got to transition into Utah tonight, which I think is going to be a tough matchup. First and foremost, because we beat them the first time. They're on a winning streak, and I know they want to give it back to us. They want to bring the smoke to us. So today, when I make my prediction, I can't go with my heart. I got to go with my head. But I'll save that for the next opportunity to speak. But nonetheless, they're gonna have a problem tonight against Utah because Utah got something to prove. Since they've lost to the Knicks, they haven't lost.
Yeah, I heard, yeah.
So they're on a roll. And they want to give some of that give back to the Knicks in this game. Now, I know the Knicks, they're gonna come in, they're not gonna play like they did against Portland, where they're gonna give up 25, 25-point, margin between them and Utah. But I don't see the Knicks being able to come Utah tonight. That's just my prediction. I can't go with my heart because every time I do that, it fails me, especially when it comes to the Knicks. I got to stick to what I see here, see here and think here. And they're still learning. this team, the Knicks, is still learning how to win. The good part, which is something that 2.0 and I discussed before we came on live, is who would have thought that almost at the 20 game mark that we're at the cusp of 500. I'll take that. In the broader context of things, I'll take that. Within that, of course, you're going to have highs and lows, up one game, down 2 games, up 2 games, whatever the case may be. And so that's the learning curve that they got to really get to that next level to become a more consistent winning team. And I don't see that happening in the long run yet, not this year. This year is going to be hovering around 500, which is good. I'll take that because I still think that if they hover at 500, they will make the playoffs. I do believe that. And they're playing the style of game that they need to be competitive during the playoffs, which is a half-court game, grind it out, slow pace, especially in this era of run and gun, shooting threes and, going, haywire. So, there's a lot of improvement there. But again, when you have a couple of those individuals that, they're in love with their threes because they think they're 3-point shooters, nah. I'm going to give them a reality check. But with that said, I'm going to pass the rock to Dream so that Dream could give us his take on Utah. What you think, what you see for tonight's game.
Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? That's how I feel about this game. You said it all. They haven't lost since we gave them that loss last. They got 12-game winning streak, hottest team in the NBA. You could lay out all the numbers we know. More importantly, man, we thought if Portland was itching to play, there's nobody ready to serve an ass whooping more than Utah to us. They're trying to make up for what we did to them last time. They didn't particularly come in shooting all that well. I think the game was a little murky. We know everything they come to the table with. They were just off their game. They lost to the Nets previously, and then they came in and lost to us. So they're trying to get their New York get back on everybody. But, man, way to stick your foot in the ground and turn it around, Utah, because they launched themselves back into contender category for me, where I was like starting to question it a little bit earlier in the season. The Knicks got to get themselves together. What I'm not liking lately is that I'm starting to see lost players on the floor again. I don't want to see lost players. We had commended them early in the season for not being that way. Last year there were a lot of guys just out of position, not knowing where they're supposed to be at any time in the offense. And they had gotten rid of that, and now I'm starting to see some of that back again. So that's a little dejecting. But that being said, you got to take it with a grain of salt because our second unit unfortunately relies on our rookies, right? Quickly and Toppin to come in and do some stuff, and then the rest of the guys to fill in around that is really how it's designed. Unfortunately, these guys didn't get any summer league or any practice coming into the season. This is basically a learning process for them. So on good days, cool. On bad days, we just got to eat that. So it sucks. But as far as the game itself, I'm not going to say a score yet, but I'll early predict that it's like a little inverted from what we saw last night. Not last night. I watched the games back over, so sometimes I think it's last night. But it's the other night against Portland. Portland built that big ass lead and then they shrunk it. I think it'll be the opposite. It'll be tight at halftime, and Utah pulls away in the end. But we'll get into a score later. But take it away 2.0. Let's see what you have to say.
Okay, thanks there, Dream. Utah 8-0, 8-game winning streak. Wow. We are 5-6 on the road. So it is for us. It's still quite possible. We are winning as many games as we're losing on the road. Utah is I don't know who they've been playing in the last 8 games. That's the other thing. So they could have been playing the Pistons and the Cavs and the Orlandos and the So they're beating up on the bottom feeders of the Eastern Conference. Okay, we gave them a game the last time. All we have to do is bring that same game again. Okay, it doesn't matter that we play here, that we play in there. Okay, and what matters is that we bring the game that we brought to them the last time. And yeah, it's gonna come down to some kind of personal pride thing and this and that and the other. But if our defense is there, their pride is gonna get hurt again. That's all. That's all. So too bad, man. Your pride got hurt. You got beat by what is it? We're 6th or 8th in the East. Okay, but that's who we are. We bring it every once in a while, and I think it's time for us to bring it. And I think we can carry with us the pride in having beat them soundly. 112 to 100, I think, was the game, if I'm looking at this correctly, the last time that we played. Okay? It doesn't matter who we play, but against teams like Utah, English, Conley, those guys, they just, what is it? B+, A- players, The only people that I'm scared about there is my man from New York, man. 45. And I don't mean your last president. I'm talking about okay. And that's it. He is going to be Sunday nights, all-star. Okay? And he's going to be like he was in the bubble. He's going to be fire. He's going to be fire because, again, all of this, pride about, having got beaten the last time soundly by the Knicks. Maybe. If we bring the defense, we're in this game through and through. And if we within 5 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, I'm sorry that I sound like a broken record, then that is what they have met my expectation. And then it's anybody's game because in the last 5 minutes, it's about, who gets after the 50-50 balls, who gets the lucky break on the long, rebounds, okay? Because long rebounds can go to the other team, but they can also turn into fast breaks for the, our team. So either way, all of those little things that make, that change a loss to a win, it's what happens in those last 5 minutes. And if we're in the game in those last 5 minutes, those things can go our way the same way that they can go their way. Take it away, Santana.
Well, I'll pass it off to Bill Stradamus so that way he get his take on this. Go ahead.
Well, you kind of, giving us some hope there. However, I'm expecting on the warm-ups to them to be blasting the big payback. I'm expecting to hear James Brown. And then I expect to look over on the side and watch Donovan Mitchell, doing whatever he does, get ready to give us at least 40.
40.
He's going to give us 40 today.
I'm going to write that down. 40 for Donovan Mitchell.
Let him finish, Henry. Let him finish. Let him have his moment.
And I hope that this game brings back Austin Powers because that was the game that he won for us when it was against them. When he scored the last 14 points to get them out of here. That was his last good game, basically. Mm-hmm. He hasn't done much for us since that game. So hopefully he'll have a flashback or a groundhog game or whatever you want to call that. Once maybe he sees them and he get his shooting stroke back. I hope that's what happens because if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna have to keep it a buck, and I'm gonna have to probably for the second time this season call the game in favor on behalf of our opponents. Sad to say this, but they owe us one, and they're gonna be looking to give us one. With that being said, I ain't gonna take up too much of the time to say the same thing over and over. Let me do a flip over the head pass, Mark Jackson style, to my man Santana.
So what's your what is your prediction for this game in terms of the score?
Score?
Yeah, because
Okay.
we're gonna go around.
Yeah. Okay, for the score, I'm gonna say them guys are gonna get like 109, and we're gonna have like I say we'll probably come back to 101, 109, 101, Jazz.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat, man. I'm gonna give it to the Jazz in this game. I mean, I have to give it to them. All indicators give me that impression that they're gonna pull out the win. Of course, I do expect the Knicks to play better. They're gonna tighten up some of the deficiencies that we saw in the last game, but it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough to match up against the Jazz. So as a result of that, I'm gonna pick the Jazz 110, Knicks 100. I'm gonna go to Dream, and then that way, Dream, Henry could close us out once he makes his prediction. So go ahead, Dream.
All right, I'll be quick. I mean, I still feel Burks is working his way into the offense, and though he's doing well, it's affecting some of the other guys. So until we figure that out, that trickle down effect, we won't get back to playing 100% Nick ball. But originally I had down 113-87 Jazz, but you guys convinced me that maybe Rivers comes back tonight. So I threw on another 12 points just in case he goes crazy with something. And it still brought me to a Nick loss, 113-99 Jazz.
Whew. Well, in case, let me just give you some news. Rivers is day to day. So what that means is quickly gets more game. Okay? And what that means is the score is totally different than anything that you could have predicted. I'm telling you, this kid is going to go off on them again. Okay? He had 31 points in 24 minutes last time. He's going to give me another 28, 30 points. Okay? And I'm going to go the other way around this time around, okay?
Okay.
And I'm taking my chances with my Knicks, okay? I still don't believe in Conley. I don't believe in English. I don't believe in Rudy Gobert. I don't believe in none of them clowns, man, okay? I say it's time for Burks, Quigley, Toppin. No Jay is going to get his name back this game.
All right.
Remember, he only scored 8 points the last game. So if he gives me his 20, it's a different game.
If he gives us his 20, it's a different team. If he ever gives us 20.
Your pick is all heart, man. All heart.
All heart, baby. All heart. I got it all heart today. And I'm going to say that it's still going to be.
I'm not mad.
112 to 108. Nick.
Okay. All right. And if Rivers don't play, put me down for the 113-87 Jazz. Put me down for the big blowout, not the little blowout.
Without Rivers?
If Rivers is out, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that you feel that strong that Rivers is going to really save the day for you.
No, I'm not saving the day. I say save the loss, the bad loss, save the bad loss.
Oh, okay. No, he hasn't given me anything. He hasn't given me enough for me to count on him to make a difference in the final score in the last 5 games. Having said that, I want to thank everybody for a great show. And once again, to all those listening in Nick Nation, once a Nick,
always a Nick.
Thank you.
All right, fellas.
All right.